Okay, I'm back again with another Workbench update. Um, I've been hard at work this last couple of weeks since my last update, rebasing my Horus Heresy figures, which you've probably seen previous videos on, maybe. So that took up the most of the last 2 weeks, was rebasing all those things and finishing those armies off so I can get them packed away, never to be seen again. But that doesn't mean that's all I've been doing. I have been doing lots of other projects, like most people in this hobby. Unless you're really, really disciplined, you're into like 50 different things at once. And that's me. I'm into 50 different things at once. I tell you, one of the curses of my life is watching movies. I cannot watch a World War II movie if I'm currently painting ancient figures, because I want to just then power through the ancient figures and start painting some Germans, British, Americans, whatever, a tank, whatever. Or if I'm painting World War II figures, I'll see a cool sci-fi movie with spaceship battle in it, and I'll be like, oh my god, I need to paint one of those too. So I'm constantly bouncing around between projects, and it's a real pain in the ass. And I think this week's Workbench update will show you that. Now, I have several things here already in frame. There's not a whole lot, but you can see the gist of what I have here. Currently, I'm still working on my Victory at Sea American fleet, so I have 3 of the cruisers here. Just got the base coat down and the start of the sea, the ocean color. I have some Napoleonics, well, what looks like Napoleonics, and I'll get to them in a second. Got some Battlefree Gothic in the background. And I also have been working on 10mm American Civil War by Warlord Games. And I'll get to these one at a time, so I'm not outpacing myself. And then I'll show you what I've been up to with my 3D printing, which, of course, these little Napoleonics are also. But I'm just going to do this one at a time and move things off. The first things that I've been working on, obviously, like I said, is these Warlord Games cruisers. They've been on my painting desk for like 6 months. It's sad, but I'm going to move those out of the way. The next thing that I've been working on has been a game that's coming out, or is out now, I think, called Sludge. And essentially what Sludge is, it's I don't even know. It's an Age of Black Powder, low fantasy, grimy, dirty universe where essentially, although I guess humanity has got to the Black Powder era, there are still parts that are using medieval weapons and armor. And essentially it's a game, from what I've heard, it's a game designed so that you can use figures from all types of ranges. Fantasy, sci-fi, historical. So you can just kit bash whatever you want, make your own army, your own force, and it's basically in the Black Powder era, which would be like Napoleonics. So what I've been doing is I've been making some kit bash figures for my Sludge force. I'm going to make 2 warbands, and this is one of the first ones. Now this figure is made up of several different figures, and the reason why I like this game and this idea is essentially, before I show you the figure, is essentially we all have done it. We all have bought a Perry Miniatures box or a Warlord Games box or a Victrix or whatever, and you get tons of head options and tons of weapon options. Now, when you're done creating your force, you're left with these sprues that have 20 different pieces left on them that you're not going to be using in the current force. So you feel like you should throw it out in the garbage because you're not going to really use it. But then, I don't know, there's really nice helmet options there. I don't want to waste that. Maybe one day I'll get to it. Well, this is the day. This is the game you should be playing or collecting, because those sprues that you've been hiding in underneath your staircase or in your closet or underneath your table, wherever you hobby, those sprues that you've been saving diligently, they can be used for this kind of force. So this figure is basically a Perry Miniatures Zouave, so an American Civil War figure. So the 2 arms, the gun, and the body and legs are Zouave. The helmet is a Perry Miniatures Napoleonic Cuirassier Carabinier helmet. I have a Perry Miniatures 100 Years War British Foot Knight mask on there, along with a sword. I have a Victrix backpack from the Napoleonic French infantry. And all those combined together have kit bashed into a sort of Napoleonic American Civil War knight. So there's one. I've made a few of them so far. Here's another one. All the same pieces. All the leftover bits from previous projects. Here's the third one. Now the game is called Sludge. Sludge, I believe. So just check it out on Facebook. You'll see lots of people, lots of inspiration. If you're not a kit basher, then maybe not for you, but for me, just a fun project. And they're dirty and grimy figures. They look like you painted a figure and then you sprayed it with, rust proofing. And that's fine for me because I don't want to spend a lot of time doing all the the lining on the trousers and all the little epaulets and all that kind of stuff. I just want to paint a figure in base coat and then make them dirty, and then it suits the thing completely. Now this one is still the same, but this is 100 Years War Foot Knight with the remaining arms from the Zouave box, a carabinier gun, and a Victrix backpack, along with a Wargames Factory samurai sword. Now I know the glue's kind of dried weird there, so it doesn't look as good, but you can see some of the things that you can do. And in this game system, this is a totally viable force. A heavily armored foot knight with a musket and samurai sword. It's perfectly doable. So there's one of them. These will be like my skirmishers. Here's another one. All the same stuff. Just leftover bits from my bits box. Then the last one, here we go. Same kind of deal. Mishmash. So that's what I've been doing, and I'm going to be doing for the next few weeks, a bit at a time. Like the conversion and kit bashing is the most time-consuming part of this. The painting won't take me long at all once I've done. I'm just going to collect about 50, maybe 45 models for each side. Me and my wife are going to do it together. She's going to kit bash one, I'm going to kit bash one, paint it together, watch movies, and play a few games with it. The next thing I've been doing, my 3D printer has been working solid on printing off some 1805 to 1807 Russian infantry battalions. Because if you've seen my previous videos, I do have a Adler French and Russian army for 1812, but I really want to do the earlier campaigns, and the 3D printer, buy these files online for $10 and I can print off as many of these as I want. So currently I'm just trying to get the scale right. I'm trying to match them up with the Adler. These ones are currently too big. So these ones here, come on, focus. These ones here are going to go into the trash because they're far too big for 6mm. They're more like 10mm, to be honest. So I'm just going to rescale them and try again. But you'll see these in future updates. I'm going to be printing off a couple of thousand of these and painting them up. Well, not these blocks, but these individual figures. I'm painting them up, and I'll be working on that. The next thing, I'm just going to pause here for a second. Okay, bad edit there, but this is the next thing. I also spent the last couple of weeks, mainly this week, painting up these Confederates for the Battle of Gettysburg. I always tend to like to do the difficult painting part first, because once I'm through that mentally, when I get to the easier bit, it's like riding downhill. So I'd rather ride a bike uphill first and then freewheel down the hill afterwards when I'm exhausted, than freewheel down the hill at the beginning and then have to trudge up the hill. So I paint the hard stuff first, and I consider the Confederates the harder of the two armies to paint. So they come first. This is Heath's division of AP Hill's Corps. And in the first here we have a 5-man, I don't know what these companies, battalions, regiments, I'm not sure, a 5-man stand or a 5-stand brigade of Pettigrew. So these are the North Carolinians. 5-man, a very large brigade, one of the largest brigades in the battle. So it's a 5-stand base. Second behind him we have Davis, who's another large brigade, and then we have Archer and Brockenborough behind in 2 3-man brigades. I also have a couple of cannon that I painted up, and I have Heath himself. And now this project's done, I'm going to actually cut the little edge off here so they join up a little nicer. I've seen that on Facebook and it looks good, so I'm going to do that. Then I'm going to base them. I'm currently working on Buford's, Devon and Gamble's Dismounted Cavalry Brigade, and once they're painted, I'm going to paint the Iron Brigade and a couple of Union Brigades, and then we're going to fight out the first few hours of Gettysburg. I also have the terrain. I have the whole box set that they came out with, the limited edition, not limited edition, but the box set with the terrain and the seminary building and the farmhouses. I have that, just haven't built it yet. I've just been painting the Confederates. So that is, apart from those, the Sludge figures. This is what I've been working on. And then I've also, on my spare time while I'm busy painting, I'll just move the other way, I have been 3D printing various objects. Now that I'm done my 3D printing for the Horus Heresy in 8mm, I was searching the interwebs for different 3D files that I could print off and just test my skills at 3D printing, because I'm still new at it. And I came across Battlefree Gothic. Now, this is my own original Battlefree Gothic Apocalypse battleship. Now, he was painted years and years ago, so be gentle. Back when the army dip painting style was all the rage. So I painted him basically, and then I just chucked him in a bucket of floor wax or floor varnish, and he came out like that. And here's a cruiser. So you see a battleship and a cruiser. And I've always loved Battlefree Gothic, and the last game I played, I can remember it really well because I loved the game, was back in 2010. Now that doesn't seem like, in my mind, that doesn't seem like too long ago, like a couple of days ago, a week ago, whatever. But in reality, it was 11 years ago. So my mind exploded, and in the course of perusing the interwebs, I found micro-scale Battlefree Gothic. So I have started to print off micro-scale Battlefree Gothic ships. And here's one of them. This is some kind of battleship anyway. You'll see it here. The detail on it is just fantastic. Now, these were free on the internet for me to find. I didn't pay for these. And the detail is just superb. It's just, I don't even know what to say. When these came off and I was looking at them, I'm like, holy beep noise. And you can see next to a original scale battleship, it's half the size, 50% of the size, 40% of the size, probably 50 would be the closer match. And they, I printed off a whole whack load of them. Now, I had several failed prints, but several of them did work out. I got, successfully, I got 4 battleships printed off. Now, they look the same. I only have 3 here, but they look the same, but they're actually very subtle differences. This one here has a Nova cannon. This one here has nothing in the front. Does it have anything? Oh, it has torpedo launchers right there. Looks like lance batteries. If you know the game at all, there's lances there. This one here has the Nova cannon on the front right there, and then lances, whatever that is. This here is an odd one. I don't know exactly what that is right there. And it's got some fighter bays, some lances, and some batteries. Broadside batteries. So there's those. There is also the Planet Killer, the Chaos Planet Killer. If you know Battlefree Gothic, you know this. Look how tiny this thing is. Next to the battleship. Amazing detail on this as well, if I can get in close here. Just amazing detail on that. Like, I can't, and I have the base printer. I don't even have the fancy ones. I have the cheapest entry one that you can get. Here's a battle barge from the Space Marines. We have a, what's this? This is a Grand Cruiser, a Chaos Grand Cruiser. I mean, like, that is spectacular detail. I'm blown away, to be honest. I'm not sure exactly what this is, but it's like another Grand Cruiser type thing. Look at all the detail there on my very basic printer. Then there's a lot of these little things, like this looks like a what do you call it? What's the cruiser for the Space Marines called? A strike cruiser. So here's a strike cruiser. I can't even. Of course, what would it be with a cat here? My streak continues, and then you have all these little tiny things. Like, now these, if you're wondering what this thing here on the bottom is the game, or the packs come with their own what's it called, flight stands, and you basically put a magnet in here, a magnet on the flight stand, and they kind of just go right onto there. So there's these little things. Come on, focus. And then what's that? A Nova class frigate for the Space Marines. And then there's a Slaughter class cruiser for the Chaos, and that's a really nice ship. And then we have a Gloriana class Primarch, well, that's a weird to say, Primarch class super battleship. It's huge. Think of it next to a battleship, and it dwarfs it. So this took about 11 hours to print, and it was printing like this, so it took all day. But I mean, that's what I've been up to. I also decided to look for some Adeptus Mechanicus figures for the Horus Heresy, and I didn't really find that many, but what I did find was this thing here. This like crabby looking thing. It's called the from a line called the Tech by the Lazy Forger on My Mini Factory, and it's essentially like an AdMech Tau hybrid 6mm force, and I just think this thing's one of the coolest things ever. The detail on that, it came pre-supported, so I didn't have to do anything, just print it off and take the supports off. It's got this little detachable something or other here, and that's what I've been into this week. I also got my second COVID shot 2 weeks ago, but I had an allergic reaction to it. Here in Canada, they mix and match the COVID shots. You don't have a choice. The first one I got was Pfizer. The second one I got was Moderna. The Pfizer one didn't seem to affect me at all, but the Moderna one a few months later completely has me off, just in crazy discomfort. It's been 2 weeks now since I've gotten it, and my hands are on fire all the time, so it makes it really difficult to hold a paintbrush, even hold a mouse to play a video game or do work at my work. It's been nuts. So I haven't done a lot of painting really. Like, this is a lot, but this was over like a few weeks. So I've mainly been printing and planning and kit bashing, and that's my workbench for the last 2 weeks. Anyway, thanks for watching. Sorry for the long video. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below, and I'll try and get back to you as soon as I can. A lot of people have been messaging me, leaving nice comments. I just haven't gotten around to answering everybody, but I will. If you leave a message, I will reply. Have a good day.